We've gone the distance. It's a JD Gaming game, of course, so we're going to game 3. Team WE bit back in game number 2, changed up the composition, found the Rumble Smite in the mid lane to counteract the gold funneling strategy. And here we are, Raz. This series has been, by my estimations,
don't even look at the time. I don't want to hear it.
Close to 5 hours. Have you ever had a 5-hour best of 3?
This must have been some long game.
Oh, mate, this is like Jin Air to a whole new level. At least those teams got to play.
That's so. It's fun for anybody just coming in. God bless your soul. You know, you got in a fresh start while you're just alongside the veterans who've been here for quite some time today, since 2 o'clock. China Standard Time, of course.
I wasn't expecting to wear a tie this long today. I feel like the blood to my brain is being cut off.
I hate this. The perfect thing about it, and by the way, this is your tie.
That is my tie.
That's her tie.
Dom is also wearing my tie.
But I don't wear it tight enough, so I don't end up having like a balloon's head. I don't want to die by this tie.
This is definitely not how that works. Let's go ahead and talk about this upcoming game. We said before the break that you still waited this was going to be a JD series. Is this simply because JD are just going to go standard? Are they going to play gold funnel? I know Clement even walked over here and was just like, no. What you do is you just put all of the power in Zoom in the top side and you just smash one side of the map.
The problem with that with Zoom is that he's just gone towards the standard lame top laners, Amundo and all that.
Well, lame? You don't just like going where you please and doing whatever the hell you want?
Hey man, that's liberating later on in the game, but in the early portions of the game, you're chained to just throwing cleavers that don't do any damage. Doesn't even make sense thematically. Those cleavers should hurt, and it doesn't. But comes down to the fact that I think JD, they will play standard, and standard to them is the standard AD carry. The only problem with the last game is that they were completely nullified in the mid lane. So you would expect them to once again find themselves with a Xayah Rakan somehow, because WE feels like that's okay, and they'll just match them in the bottom side of the map. So I think it's going to be a pure standard game. It's just going to be that JD is going to have to match them mano a mano.
What's interesting here is that stylistically, especially because of how you set up JD Gaming, it's always talking about, you know, Yagao needs to be on a heavy roaming mid laner. He's a guy that needs to be unlocked. He participates with the side lane, has one of the highest KP plus A's at 15 minutes. And then Loken has really stepped up, and the team, you know, funneling behind him as they kind of become a pseudo, you know, play around their ADC, or at least funnel resources into him, especially with the gold funnel strat. And then you look stylistically at Team WE across from them, this should almost be a perfect matchup for WE. They have a very strong ADC, multiple very strong ADCs, in Imp, Gentle, and Mystic, who are winning lanes, at least when you give them proper matchups. And then you have a guy like Xie, their best performing member. So why has this been such a... Because even when Team WE were winning, it was such a slugfest.
Could just be a point of confidence. LG, or at least JD, are confident in their AD carry, and they've been finding wins around that. And WE right now, I don't know where their confidence
just not
lies.
Confident?
Exactly. I think it's just going to be solo matchups, maybe pooling it all into CA. But I want it to go in towards Mystic.
Okay, well that said, we're going to go ahead and give it over to the casters and see what happens in game number 3.
过去的荣光就留在记忆中 ，WE 要追逐新的胜利。
I like your tie, Frosk. And now we're going to get back into this next game. WE versus JD is coming at us. And WE have now evened things up. They've been playing through Mystic in the bottom lane. He did massive damage in that last game. But I think the thing that we got to talk about the most was the draft for Team WE. Gave them an answer to the funnel composition out of Team JD. Do we think JD are going to run? Do you think JD are going to run a funnel composition in Game 3 after WE have shown they know how to beat it now?
No, I don't think so. I think Xie has the champion pool to really counter out most of what Jingdong has been throwing against WE. So I don't think it's the same strategy. And if I'm Jingdong, if I'm JD Gaming, I think to myself, I actually have a very good system in place that has brought me to 5-1 in the Eastern Conference. So maybe I just go back to that. And it's about roaming, it's about a lot of early kills, and it's about getting Clid on something he can carry on.
Yeah, I mean, that Rakan, he was able to get some big knockups in Game 1 and set up for his team, but in Game 2, the moment that starts to fall behind, it becomes so difficult to find opportunities for your team to break open the game with that support champion. But still, he's a longtime Jarvan player. He's a Lee Sin player. He's the guy who likes to go in and make these big, flashy plays that set up for his team.
Yeah, and this split, more than any other, he's the best Graves player we have in the LPL. We see so many JD Gaming drafts where they actually just ban away the Nocturne and first pick the Graves. We actually just call him the uncle composition because they got get the guy with the cigar in, and suddenly everything is okay. It doesn't even hurt his health.
So why is it the uncle composition?
Well, Graves is known as the uncle in Mandarin.
Ah, okay, okay. Interesting. I wonder who's... anyways, getting back into this, if we can see him unlock, that could create an avenue of success for JD, because, again, they have strong lanes. They've got Loken, who's doing work in the bottom lane. He's stepping up in these team fights. Zoom and Yagao, the Dumpling brothers, are doing work in their own way as well.
Yeah, and I think the big difference for WE is that their team fighting does not look like 2017 at all. You cannot convince me that is the case. We just saw Zoom chase down Mystic while 4 members were nowhere around him. That's not 2017 WE. They were known for protect the AD composition, not ditch the AD comp. So, you know, I think there's... the main thing is communication. Like, W definitely look like they're lacking in certain aspects, and I think Condi and Mystic have been the 2 new members that have had this sort of problem, but we also have to give Mystic his due. 7 games so far, and they've never gone back to Imp. They've never gone back to Gentle. He is the guy carrying the team so far, and he's doing so with 35% of the team's damage being dealt. And that's not even counting the series. It should go even higher after that MVP performance.
Yeah, we do. It is really interesting when you bring it up like that, because it seems as though the communication has gotten worse for Team WE.
It definitely has.
And that's not something that happens very common in League of Legends, for a group of the same 4 to 5 players to go from being a mediocre team to being a top-tier team and then dropping back down out of communication and meta.
It happens all the time.
Okay.
If you've been in a long relationship, you get those years where you're kind of like, I'm not sure I'm really in love with the other person, but then you turn around and you're like, yeah, we're still family at the end. So it's a working process. It's not that easy to keep a bunch of players together.
Every day, it's about the communication. You got to work at it. Team WE, to make love work, you got to work at it. And what better way than with Darkness? Nocturne is going to start things off. A quick ganking jungler for Condi, but look at that, the Shen Camille out of JD to answer.
Yeah, I really love this first pick coming out from WE. It is one of those picks that does counter the Graves and also gives you an avenue to go for a global composition. So, you know, very strong answers all around. They also take away the Tom Kench, which is the best global protection champion. So, strong ideas from draft coming out from WE.
We even see the Kled to try and match that Shen mobility, of course. Charge, not quite global, but at level 16, it's damn near close. And also provides a heck of a lot more engaged than Stan United. But now Ashe being banned away, as Lucian is the champion of choice for Loken. Looking like Loken's going to take Lucian and step up in the bottom lane.
Of course, this draft has been done manually before, so that's why the teams are having almost no hesitation in locking everything in. We do see JD Gaming do have the same read as their analyst test. They do think Mystic is probably the better AD carry, so they're taking away a lot of his options and trying to force him onto something like the Ezreal or a Mage, perhaps.
Oh, Kaisa being looked at and locked in by Mystic here. Can his performance match one of the big 4? Can he match iBoy, Jackie Love, Uzi? Now, or will Loken and the rest of JD be able to catch up to him? But again, the Rumble lock into the mid lane for Xie.
And this is Mystic saying that you're not leaving me behind ever again. I'll use killer instincts and catch up with the team. This is a composition that WE has played before when they really started playing with the Kled. They played an all-forward composition as well. And wow, Yagao taking something out of Knight's book, going for the Echo Assassination.
Yeah, very interesting to see that Echo now in the mid lane. And look at that, both of our mid laners rocking that smite.
Yep, it has been the first pick so far, and we have heard a lot of players playing the Echo mid with the Smite as well. You can keep up with the farm your own Raptor camps, and I think Echo is just a much stronger champion against the Rumble in general. Against low mobility champions, there's a good chance you can catch them in with the W and just land a killing blow here. So I really do like what JD Gaming has drafted here. They've got a strong mid and strong jungle combination. This is their bread and butter. This is how they get their advantages. And still they have the marksman into the bot side as well for a bit of late game power.
There's a lot of opportunity for WE to try and react to that though. Nocturne, though, his range isn't massive early on. Once he gets the darkness, you simply push the button and add some doubt to WE. If they were looking to run that mid jungle, try to dive, or perhaps look for Xie or roam towards the bottom lane, simply activating the paranoia, well, it makes them paranoid. To continue with that dive. Because you never know if the Nocturne's going to show up. Maybe Kled is going to start teleporting behind you. There's a lot of global flexibility out of WE to try and answer this. But so far, the games have been determined by the side lane pressure of these two teams. And that's something that I want to get into. Once again, we've got the Gragas into Kled for 957 and Zoom in the top lane. Didn't go out for Zoom in game 1. Is he going to be looking for redemption here in game 3?
Now, I actually would consider the Gragas a pretty good matchup into the Kled. You do have the early wave clear advantage, and also Kled just doesn't do very well with short CC duration, with short cooldown CCs. So once you're dismounted, he just barrels into you and he can one-shot you quite easily. So I think that's why we're seeing the Kled being, the Gragas being picked into the Kled over and over by Zoom coming from the top lane. Like you said, W have a great composition if they can make all of the pieces work. However, I do have some hesitations in calling them a well-oiled machine so far into the split. So whether they can make it work is a big question mark for me. I really do want to see Condi have one of the best games in this split so far, because so far he really hasn't been showing that MVP potential.
And now it appears that we have loaded into Keystone Runes.
Or maybe not.
As the fans are chanting. And the last chant is the loudest for JD as they are trying to bring down Team WE. The rankings don't tell enough of a story for these teams. JD 5-1, WE 1-5, but it seems as though WE could be finding some momentum after that Game 2 victory, finally finding a bit of pace as they group up around Mystic. They're learning their mistakes that they should have learned from a long, long time ago, but if that's what it takes for this team to climb back on top, then that's what it takes. Will JD be another mistake, or will it be a lesson learned? Let's find out. As we've got red buff start from both of our junglers, and Loken and Mao, looks like they're going to start trying to control that bottom wave early on against the Kai'Sa Kench.
And we can see both mid laners with their smite, doing away with the Raptor camps, getting level 2 before they even hit laning phase. Pretty standard stuff that we've seen so far. It doesn't have to be an anti-gold funneling. A lot of times you can just play this solo, and in fact it is the new fad of High Korean Challenger for mid laners.
Yeah, that new hotness. It's almost like, remember back in the old days when mid laners would just tax the Raptor camp all the time? It used to be Wraiths back then.
Yeah.
And then you sound so disheartened. Were you a jungler back then, Clement?
Yes, I was a jungler.
I see. So we shall not discuss those dark times.
I remember going cloth 5 and playing Udyr just so you could clear faster than your mid laner.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like, what? I need the gold. I'm playing Karthus Orianna so I can clear it over the wall.
You don't need gold. You have Heart of Gold.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a quick reminder for everyone, our match of the week is coming up in just a few minutes. EDG versus Royal Never Give Up. That starts in 9 minutes out of Beijing. And if this game is still going, and judging by the clock being at 2 minutes it is, we will duck out of the WEJD game and hop live into the RNG arena for that match of the week. But Klid, he's looking to protect Xie in the mid lane, but look at that, so is Condi. Engage from Yagao as he gets a good hit onto Xie, and there it goes, the knock-up. Xie's already going low. That's the scrap shield as he flashes back. Condi uses and wastes his spell shield, not able to soak any hits there. Klid's just looking for the hook shot cooldown. Yagao with the dive. Nobody from top is coming to save this. That's the Predator onto Condi, but he's already got Scuttle Crab. Klid forces the flash, separates Xie. Here comes 957. Klid, he's going to get low. Condi's at such low health. Zoom joins the fight. They get first blood, but trade it back over 1 for 1. Xie is the target. Yagao is doing some work here, just landing proc after proc, and now 957. He's got double buff, but he's able to walk this out. 2 for 1. JD Gaming.
Yeah, and that was really impressive because Kled did have the inner track from the top side, so they made it a 3v2 earlier on, but Yagao with his mobility able to reach onto Condi and take him down first. A really surprising turn of events because the Nocturne was already in position, but another fight happening in the bot lane as well.
Just the Shatter Dash trade. Sometimes that 525 Kai'Sa range is so tough to deal with, but again, the fight goes in. Klid manages to get the damage onto Condi, and Yagao steps up with Clid to finish off the kill, though they do trade one jungler for the other.
Yeah, that was a very strong play and exactly what JD Gaming were looking for. They do have the highest first blood percentage out of any of the LPL teams, and it's their willingness to fight all in the 2v2.
Look at Yagao, he's being collapsed upon, drops himself the parallel convergence. But here's Clid, level 3 to Condi's level 4, leaps out, able to hit him. I don't think Condi actually took too much damage from that hook shot.
Level
4 to level
Condi
3.
actually, he did block it in time.
Shield,
Yeah, it was very well done on Condi's side. It's very difficult to time something like that.
And now Zoom is even looking to get in on the action, but 957 finds him on the roam. Condi's able to get there first. Will Zoom be able to get the body slam over the wall? He does by faking back. He walks away with his life, but double puff on that Kled, and the kill means, once again, this lane is going to be real tough for Zoom.
Yep, and we're seeing the Echo doesn't have the teleport, is running with the smite, of course, so not really able to help back on the other members of the team. Now this Kled is actually fairly scary. There's a reason that JD Gaming did not go in 2v1 versus a double buff Kled, because even if you take him off his horse, there's a very high chance of him mounting up back again. As a Kled main, I can tell you, 5 auto attacks and a full Q will get you back onto your horse, or Skarl, if he's a horse. I'm not sure.
I think it's a Draco something or other. I forget the name. Ah, it's Daniel Dracos.
Oh,
Got
okay.
it. There he is.
I would not mind riding Dracos into battle. That was weird.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he would, if we were to actually rank the casters by your ability to ride them into battle, he would be close to the top. That's going to be the new Twitter list. Don't worry, we'll get that after broadcast. As Shadow Dash, once again, Mao has just been doing work. Lu Mao getting the edge of the Shadow Dash time and time again. And meanwhile, 957 still just trading against Zoom. Zoom does take over to level 6 first, and he does have the explosive cask. But look at that, Condi's just hovering on that top side. So much emphasis is being placed on keeping 957 safe, keeping Xie safe. Bottom side seems to have barely been touched, and it seems to be working out in Loken's favor. He's 11 CS ahead, he's pushing into that turret, and now even Clid is on that side of the jungle as the red buff is going to respawn.
Just has to do with the matchup. The Lucian, of course, will get the lane priority early. I'm really impressed at how W recovered from those 2 kills being thrown. But now we see the big difference maker, Yagao with the kill and the assist coming into the fight. But can't deny Condi from 6, I guess.
Yeah, look at how close Condi is, or how safe he's trying to play. That was a blast cone over the wall in order to get Clid into the Dragon Pit. Yagao thought about diving bottom, doesn't have his flash, but he's got the chrono break to try and reset if anything goes awry. And Mystic and 694. Goodness gracious, that's going to be something.
Yeah, just imagine the full WE team roster with like 15 digits. That's great.
If I ever get the ability to cast a team like that, I think afterwards I'll go into auctioneering, you know, like the Texas-style auctioneering. And I'll take 694, going first, going for second, go over to the number 2, and the hook shot into the 4995. There's a reason I can't do it right now.
Do you know why they changed, why Celestial changed his name?
Why did Celestial change his name?
So the reason was that he couldn't pronounce his name in English, and Candace actually asked him about that during a live interview. And isn't that a bit weird that you chose a name that you can't pronounce? And he thought about it, was like, yeah, it actually is kind of weird. So he changed his name to 694.
God, you gotta love how open-minded he is at that point. Like, you know, I think I might have made a mistake there. I think you're right. Thank you for that feedback. If only we could all be as open-minded as.
But why 694 though?
Hold on, maybe on the keyboard, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
probably
9,
just
4. It's like a triangle or something. I don't know. It doesn't make a shape on the keyboard either. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Illuminati confirmed. But
yeah, that's the one. Still, not a lot of action has been happening, though. We've been seeing the junglers roam about. They're skirmishing over vision here to look for an opportunity to set up a dive, to try to find a kill somewhere and break the game open, but safe wave vision on both sides, safe pushing on both sides, not yielding too much of an advantage either way.
Yep, we should expect losing lanes from WE's side. Of course, the top lane, there was a bit of interference of the double buff transfer, but generally speaking, the lanes from JD Gaming should be pushing forward, and what they should be looking for is Echo to go into that side lanes. We've seen Knight play this before, and so far, Knight is still the only mid laner to win with an Echo, and I think it mainly has to do with his transition into the side lanes, which not a lot of people have been able to copy. We see Condi waiting on the wings already, though.
He's got the paranoia. That's Shadow Dash. Mystic actually kites it out this time, and look at the damage that Mao is going to take. There goes the paranoia, and oh no, the ultimatum catches Condi in midair and saves his support. 694, real low. Culling was used. Logan gets slowed by the tongue lash, and there goes Clid looking for the follow-up. Parallel convergence, and Yagao is on the hunt. He's finally found the kill, but Equalizer resets. It's Stand United. Clid goes low. Yagao, is he going to look for the reset? He does. He bounces back onto Mystic, but under the turret at the same time. At such low health, he gets popped by the Void Seeker from Mystic, and WE take the fight 2 for 2.
Yep, so overall, I actually think it was a 2 for 1.
That's the one, 2 for 1.
Yep, in WE's favor right there. Good play coming out from Clid, actually blocking the entirety of Paranoia's damage from going down, or else Lurma would have been dead far in advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent play from Clid to deny the paranoia. Now we know an unstoppable target cannot break out of the ultimatum. I imagine that would probably be a similar interaction with Vi as well, but just the dive attempt as Yagao, he gets greedy for the kill, but ends up costing his team as Clid steps in a bit too far, and Xie ends up trading 2 for 1.
That is such a good equalizer, not leaving enough space between the terrain and the lane, so 2 members had to walk on burning coals just to get away from that, and unfortunately for Echo, he's such a difficult playmaking champion. You could see that Yagao overshot on the W there and wasn't able to secure the early kills.
Yeah. What can you say? Xie putting JD between a rock and a hot place. And now the dragon is the target as we're just getting some vision over the back of it. Clid continuing to farm up. That's what I live for, just the soft chuckles. They're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I see what you did
We go
there.
to so many hot places in Shanghai. There's like great hot boxes all over the place.
But 11 minutes in, 3 kills to 3 right now. That's what's on your hot pot. We're in game 3, Clement. We've got our match of the week.
This is great for WE because they should have had losing lanes. They weathered the early game storm, and now they have Condi on 6, which is makes him a lot more dangerous, a lot easier to make plays on him compared to the Camille. You do bring a little bit more damage into the equation as well. So for JD, I still think they're looking for the same things. They really want to get Yagao into one of these side lanes as soon as possible. The question is just how do they actually do it? Because most of the time you want to look for a side lane tower to go down, get yourself a long lane, and that's when Echo is at his best. In that long lane situation.
When you could chase someone down, when there's no chance of them escaping.
Yeah, you don't even have to consider the W. The passive is just enough. The Z resonance drive, you can just chase someone down. So that's what JD Gaming are trying to set up. The question is, really where do they want to do it? And I think it probably should be the top lane. You do have the Shen in the bot, so you can stand United up towards that lane. And also, it's pretty easy for Gragas to get that explosive barrel cast onto the Kled.
I mean, we can already see Logan is trying to break down that bottom tier 1 turret, but Kai'Sa wave clear under turret is no problem. The missile barrage it's pretty easy because it does get that execution damage on targets, I believe, below 30% health when keeping pace of that wave. Plus, he hasn't even broken down his mid tier 1 yet. Especially with this constant trading that we're seeing out of Xie back and forth just to manage the wave and keep that Echo locked down in the mid lane. And like you said, there's no teleport either. So if we're looking for Yagao to break something out, I don't think it starts with Yagao. I think it's got to start with Clid or maybe the bottom lane opening something up, or even Zoom taking an advantage against 957. He's level 10 to 957's level 9 and is 20 CS up right now.
Yeah, it's just too hard to actually push down any of these lanes when both mid laners are running with the smite. Yeah, so
and Runic Echoes for even more AoE.
Yep, it's going to be a very common trend, but they're going to have to use the roam advantage, and just like I was talking about, JD Gaming are going for that top lane. It is the easiest point to crack.
And look at that, Condi is behind them. Bear trap on the rope, gives a good yank to Zoom. Teleport is not available for Mystic, and Xie has roamed up as well. Looks like blue buff is being taken by Yagao in the meanwhile. Doesn't have a smite just yet. Though Xie does, and a quick execution. Doesn't even need smite. That is a lot of damage with only the Runic Echoes. Z-Drive Resonance is a heck of a thing.
Oh yeah. If you want more drives, you definitely want to go all the way up to the Z.
all the way to the Z.
Yep.
Or even go into the Greek alphabet, yeah. That could be the one. Meanwhile, mid laners have returned mid. Both junglers are still hovering top as Zoom is just trying to bait this. he going to toss the cask?
He should do it now because that damage should knock him off of Scarl.
Yeah,
and he
then
won't be able to
follows
charge.
up with the Hextech Ultimatum.
Yeah. I'm actually quite surprised that they didn't go for that. That was a pretty clean play for them.
957 has teleport. He's going to try to get back to the turret in time. Sheen proc
can
for
he
more
actually
damage
do
and the
it?
stand
No!
united, and the teleport is cancelled. That does mean Loken is all by his lonesome in the bottom lane. And immediately, Lumao is racing. He's like, I got to get back home to the Rift Herald. He's
That
going
was
to the Rift Herald.
I have to say that was a bit of misplay from both sides. They didn't need to stand united coming from the bot lane at all. And 957 probably should not have teleported, even with the paranoia right there.
But that's first brick for JD, and they're taking Rift Herald, though it looks like 957 might be ready for a little contest. Zoom is still there. He's still got his explosive cask, and we can see the mid laner being pulled up as well. But 3 versus 3, and JD are on the wrong side of this. WE walk into the pit and take it. Condi picks up the buff as JD decide not to fight.
Yep, we see Zoom on very low
That's
health.
the equalizer and the charge. Zoom, as you mentioned, split from his team with a flash. He gets caught by the fear of Condi and ends up dying. WE just picking up the scraps that JD are throwing down.
Yep, and this is just classical JD gaming. You win something and then you try to take more. This has always been their mentality. I actually think Zoom misplayed that quite heavily. There's no reason for him to be there. No stand united, low on mana as well. Should have just given that up.
Loken. Whoa! Good damage. He's got Blade of the Ruin King, so he's got sustain, while Mystic only has the refillable. Might be trying to take a turret advantage here, but Condi is heading down to this bottom lane to defend his AD carry.
I promise you will not hear me squeal like that again, but that was really close. Like, I did not expect that much damage from Press the Attack.
I feel like I don't believe that, because Echo's about to hop over the wall. Still got a lot of damage. Parallel convergence. Loken steps up. Mystic gets the target. Gets the shield from Killer Instinct, and Loken uses that to dash back out with the kill in his back pocket. The turret is defended, though they do find that kill.
I held it. But it was a lot of damage.
You thought about it, didn't you?
Of course I did.
Yeah. But still, the turret is being pushed in here. Shia tried to push in the meanwhile. He doesn't quite have the equalizer just yet, though he is level 12. So it does have that power spike of massive damage, and WE decide they can't defend it. 2 turrets to 0, though WE still sitting on that Rift Herald.
Yeah, if you think about this play that JD Gaming are doing over and over again, it's actually very hard for W to do anything about it. They don't really have the range to step up and just clear it with the threat of the stun coming out from the Echo. So if that happens, there's only 2 realistic options. You go all in at once, or you just back off and give the tower. So
maybe we can clear the minions, Clement. When there are 3 people there, and one of them's an Echo with Chrono Break.
optimistic thinking.
Yeah, here we can see the stats for JD. They've got some of the highest damage per minute in the league, along with their kills per minute, but that gold differential, minus 367. That team KDA is right on average.
That's the coolest thing about JD Gaming, is that they actually have winning gold totals at any other game point.
Yeah.
So what they do is they start roaming, they lose a bunch of farm, they get kills, and then they lose objectives. So that's why you see the gold graph, and that's why I was talking about the classic JD Gaming.
Yeah.
You win something, and then you try for more.
Exactly. We got the kills, let's take the objective.
Yeah,
we don't have enough health.
It's so obvious from the stats. Like, I've never seen a team that's like, okay, they're winning here, they're winning there, they're losing at 15 minutes. That makes no
Doesn't make
sense,
sense,
but
yeah.
that's JD Gaming.
Well, it seems like we're seeing something a little similar here. At 17 minutes, they are finally ahead in gold in this series. I believe even in the gold funnel game in game 1, WE was up.
But were they ahead when they lost when they lost Herald? That's the question.
Ah, yeah,
See,
I guess that's the call.
That's the cool thing about JD Gaming and their stats.
Well, now we need to look at the equalization then, because Condi is still sitting on that Rift Herald for about 60 seconds. If he drops that in a sign lane and it breaks a turret, that could equalize the gold a little bit, but right now, JD, they're just pushing the tempo in that mid lane. There goes the charge. 957 with level 12 is trying to catch up. Equalizer on top, but JD just back out of it. 957 decides not to follow up. This is wasting a lot of time on Condi's Herald, though.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. 957 did not come in soon enough. If he was there, he could have gotten a lot of the pullbacks onto his Q and maybe kept someone on the equalizer a bit longer.
Culling onto the mid-tier 1 as JD are trying to break it down. Yagao steps up to zone them away and succeeds. The mid-tier 1 is broken. 3 turrets to 0, nearly 3,000 gold ahead for JD Gaming.
I really like what JD Gaming are doing so far. They're testing the communication of WE. Can you come in all at once? We've actually seen a very similar composition to what HQ has been running in the LMS with the Vigar. Same concept.
And now we must tragically depart this WE versus JD game as our match of the week is starting. Edward Gaming versus RNG is about to go live in Beijing. Why, hello there. We're going to go ahead and take a real quick break while we get ready for you and swap in some new casters. So don't go anywhere. Our match of the week will be right back.
Bye-bye.
让我们把故事传唱下去，继续书写 RNG 的传说。